What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Geek Out, episode 19. There's a lot of things that happened over the weekend, this past week, and the weekend. We didn't get to do it on Sunday. I was on vacation, but we are coming to you here now live. We're recording Monday night. This is going up Tuesday morning, so you guys will probably be listening to this on Tuesday. So anything that breaks between 7:45 Eastern Time Monday up until when you listen to this, we ain't getting it. That'll go up on Sunday. But here we are right now. There's a ton of things to talk about. But first, before we get into anything, I want to introduce you to the panel. As always, we got my right hand on the G Show, Matt G95. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, guys? Missed you yesterday.
Yeah, no, I did too. I did, and I'll tell you why I missed that, because like I said, I was on vacation. Before I get into that, I want to also introduce you guys to my brother in New York out there, C. Monty, a.k.a. Chris, doing the goddamn thing out there, brother. What's up?
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
This is not the Howard Stern show, but I appreciate the reference very much. So, all right. Before we get into it, you guys know us. When I started the G Show page, me and G2, the premise initially when I kickstarted the idea of the G Show was about giant monsters, Godzilla, most importantly, Godzilla and Gamera, G1, G2. It blossomed into a whole geek thing, and here we are with this podcast. But I would be remiss not to discuss this, just to give some respect to Haruo Nakajima, the very first man to don a Godzilla costume, and he's the first Godzilla. From 1954 through the entire Showa series, for the most part, he was Godzilla, and he was numerous other creatures. And unfortunately today, August 7th, he passed away peacefully, hopefully. And, you know, I just wanted to show a sign of respect to that, because if it wasn't for him, to be all honest, I don't think we'd be doing this podcast right now. And I'm not saying because of him as a suit actor, but he is a very large part of that, because as a suit actor, he made me believe in a giant dinosaur that breathed, or that spit fire. He made me believe in that. So, Haruo Nakajima, thank you for everything, and I just want to take this moment for silence. So. All right, I think that's enough, because I'm not really a religious type of dude. But yeah, I just want to throw this out there. I know Matt, me and you, we connected on the Godzilla tip. So, you anything to say real quick to about Haruo Nakajima? I'm all over the place.
Well, yeah, it's a shame. It's very sad. Not the news I was expecting to get today, but he was getting up there. He was 88, I believe,
Yeah.
and. It's amazing that he, has lasted this long and been able to witness so many different incarnations of Godzilla over the years. And it was like you were saying, without him, we might not be here. Had somebody else in the suit, who knows if this other person would have played him the way he did. And, maybe if Godzilla was played or portrayed in a different way in 1954, maybe that movie wouldn't have taken off, and maybe we wouldn't have the franchise and this cultural movement and staple that we have now. And it's not all due to him, but he does have he has very large monster-sized footsteps.
Definitely.
And, yeah.
He's definitely an important part of the Kaiju-verse, of the Godzilla universe. I mean, honestly, of the fandom. Chris, I know you're not well endowed like we are in regards to the Godzilla universe, but is there anything that you feel? I mean, because I know you've seen the movies and stuff. Is there anything you want to contribute?
Yeah, I'm not as aware of everything. I didn't even know who this. To be honest with you, I didn't even know who this dude was till the news broke and everything. But you got to give props are due to the originator and everything like that. This is the first guy to throw the suit on. made the monster what it is and everything. Like Matt said, like, you could say, oh, he just threw on a suit and stomped around the village and everything. But there are certain ways to do things, and certain, like, you got to give credit to actors where, like, the way they do their body movements and everything like that. Like, with another actor, differently, the creature would have came off with an entirely different effect and everything. So you got to give credit where it's due. The dude made Godzilla what it is in terms of the way he moved in the suit and all that stuff. So it's a big loss for the fans and the culture and everything like that. It's obviously going to keep going on, and they're not using body suits anymore. They're using CG and stuff. But
right.
Like I said, you got to give props to the original, man. He's the one that set the scene for everything.
Absolutely. We're going to have more on Haruo Nakajima on the Godzilla Block Party, a special edition, hopefully coming this weekend. But yeah, I just want to, for everybody out there that's listening, G-fan style, massive props to Haruo Nakajima, the first Godzilla. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into some shit, because there's been a couple of things to drop this week. I gotta be honest, there's one particular thing I want to talk about before we get into that, though. We're gonna jump around a bit, and so I'm gonna start real quick. I'm gonna probably go low and then go high. We'll start with the smaller stories, and we'll gradually get up to the topics of the day. So let's start with this real quick. I want to talk about the Dark Universe. Okay, the Universal Dark Universe. It's funny. I was just at Universal Studios. That was my vacation. That's why this podcast is happening now instead of Sunday. And I'll tell you this real quick, offside. Universal Studios Hollywood is very, very fun to attend. I did about 12 and a half, almost 13 hours there yesterday. I had a great fucking time with the family. And the Transformers 4D, 3D, whatever D ride that is better than the last 4 movies. Hands down. It's such a fun experience. If you guys get the chance to go out to Universal Studios Hollywood, check that Transformers ride out. Seriously, it's so much fun. The 3D is great. Believe it or not, I hate 3D. 3D is great. Everything about Universal Studios was really fun, especially Turkey Lakes. Turkey Lakes, top notch. Hollywood, on the other hand, I had a chance to go to Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, no, I'm just not a fan of large crowds anymore. I left New York because I just didn't want to deal with that shit every morning, going to work in the city, dealing with large crowds. So yeah, I wasn't a fan. It was crowded. It was steamy. It is August. And, it just wasn't well kept. That's my personal feelings. I'm sure I'm going to go back out there because the Dolby Atmos Theater is over there, and I really want to see something there, but I can't recommend it. Universal, however, let's talk about it. Universal Dark Universe. The Mummy didn't perform well. So now, Alex Kurtzman, who directed The Mummy, was interviewed the other day, sometime last week, and basically made this offhand comment like he doesn't know where this is going to go. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the next movie down the pipe was supposed to be Bride of Frankenstein. But if Alex Kurtzman is right now saying they don't know where this is going, then this whole Dark Universe thing is up in the air. And it's kind of justified considering The Mummy didn't really do well domestically, and they thought the international market, because of Tom Cruise's name, might reel it in. But, and I don't know the numbers on this, but I don't believe it's what Universal expected it to be. So that we're sort of in this limbo here with this Dark Universe thing. So Chris, I'm gonna throw it to you real quick. What do you think is gonna happen going forward? And do you agree with this Dark Universe probably not even taking off?
I mean, they'll probably push one more movie just to see how it goes. I just think they hedged their bets on trying to do this do this as an action. And we talked about this when it first coming out and everything like that. People, when you think about the Universal monster movies, you think about the monsters. You think, and yeah, the Brendan Fraser one kind of worked as like an action adventure romp and everything like that. But they played that movie for what it was. Like, at no point were you really supposed to take that movie too seriously or too scared. Like, you complained when you saw The Mummy about how they did like the humor and then they did like the horror, but The Mummy was all mostly humor. For one, there was really no horror to it, and you're trying to. I guess it didn't really work out. I can't speak for because I didn't actually see the movie, but according to you, who did, like, it didn't really work out.
Right.
They try to turn it into like this action franchise. They're trying to do like a Marvel shared universe kind of thing where it's like a little bit irreverent, but it's also like dealing with these horror villains and everything like that. And I just think that, like I said, when you go into a monster movie, you're expecting like it to be more horrific and more monsterish, not really like big action set pieces and stuff. And I think that's what kind of happened to it. Like, people went in expecting like this dark monster movie and just got Mission Impossible with supernatural elements. And I don't think that's what people really wanted out of it. I could be wrong. And, and maybe it just wasn't marketed well, or any number of things could have gone wrong. But, like, I think Universal will probably do one more movie just to test the waters, see how it works out. I don't think they're gonna drop it entirely because, like, the opening, starter thing failed. They've already invested money into contracting these actors and everything like that, so they'll probably try to push a little bit. So I think it's gonna all hinge on how the next movie performs. I think if the next movie flops, they'll probably like scrap it, and if the next movie does at least okay, they'll probably try to do for a third and just play it by ear from then on. And if the next movie does extremely well, then we'll get the entire franchise. But so far, the first one they tried to do, Dracula Untold, that flopped. The Mummy didn't perform as well as they thought it would. It's really not looking good.
Yeah, I will say this. Being at Universal this weekend, The Mummy, the ride, that's a pretty fun thing. Especially if you got a fast pass, because you don't want to spend 60 minutes on the line and then get in there and it's only a 3-minute ride. Now, if you got a fast pass, you get right in, you get right on, you go, come back, you have a great time, you get some popcorn, you have a good time. Matt, what do you think?
Well, I fully expect that the Dark Universe is dead in the water now. I hope, like the monster fan that I am, is clinging on to the fact that it's not dead yet, and that I hope that they figure their shit out and keep going. I mean, let's look at it from a slightly different perspective. The director of The Mummy he says he doesn't know what's going on. Maybe that's because they're pushing him out of the fold because he made a shitty movie. And they're, continuing on without him. That's one idea. Or maybe they actually don't have their shit together and know what they're doing. Two very real possibilities. I mean, in this day and age, it's kind of amazing what one movie will do to a person's career. Like, look back in the day, someone like William Friedkin, this world-renowned director, or Scorsese or anybody like that, these, huge directors that make these, classic movies. They've had tons of just awful movies, but people overlook them because the classics are just that good. Whereas today, one bad movie will ruin you forever. Remember that dude Josh Trank who made a little movie called Fan Four Stick? He was in line to direct a Star Wars spinoff, and now he's ruined forever.
Come on, man. Josh Trank directed he directed Creed and your man from Valerian in Chronicle, man. That was a great movie.
I never saw Chronicle, but that was his first movie, and I mean that's not saving him anymore. People only get
a big part of Josh Trank's failure in the industry is the fact that according to many reports, his behavior on set was fucking horrible.
a hard.
I mean, well, if that's the case, then why does somebody like, I don't know, Tom Cruise have a career as well? Like, he kind of...
Because Tom Cruise's behavior is horrible, but he turns out good movies. Josh Trank was horrible and turned out a flop.
The Mummy was a flop?
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. I guess Tom Cruise gets a pass now because Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. I didn't even know Tom Cruise was hard to work with on set. I never heard that before. That makes me sad.
I mean, I don't know how... I've heard rumors, but I don't know how true they actually are. But it wouldn't surprise me, really. But this isn't like a bash Tom Cruise thing. This is more like, like... This is just the state of Hollywood now. One bad movie in your flagship movie that's supposed to create and drive a franchise flops. So, we take out, like, who's the person we can blame the most on? Can't blame it on Tom Cruise. He's way too expensive. So blame it on the director. That, again, 100% speculation, but that's just looking at it from a different angle. I do hope that they get their shit together. I hope that Bride of Frankenstein comes out and it's eerie and weird and creepy and, kicks ass and is a great movie that kicks off this franchise, because I want more of these movies. I need more Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, I get you on that. Woo, I do.
Like, I need another good werewolf movie because they're so few and far between. But,
yeah. Oh, my God.
Well, I don't think we spoke about this. I don't know if the trailer came out before our last podcast, but Guillermo del Toro has that movie, Shape of Water, that reminded me so much of a Creature from the Black Lagoon-esque type of movie.
But it also could be Abe Sapien, the solo movie.
I don't want to hear that. But yeah, I totally got you on that. I totally agree with you. But I 100% hear what you're saying. My problem with, not my problem, let me rephrase this. My worry with the Bride of Frankenstein movie is the Bride of Frankenstein is really dependent on Frankenstein. And being that we're getting the Mummy first, it's hard for me to fathom a Bride of Frankenstein movie, even though it might have been in Mary Shelley's original Prometheus story and they're taking liberties. I'm not too sure because I've not read that. But I just worry because as far as what I've seen in Universal horror, the classics, it was Frankenstein, then Bride of Frankenstein, and it was a perfect sequel to the original because I really, listen, I've said this before, whether it's on this podcast or to you guys in person, I'm like a Frankenstein nut. For whatever reason, I just got into Frankenstein a couple of years back and was just like, yeah, this shit is dope. And I tried to get as much knowledge about Frankenstein as possible, watch as much shit, read as much shit. The Universal take on it, and then Bride of Frankenstein is just a perfect balance. For them to go and start Bride of Frankenstein before Frankenstein, and to be the second movie after Mummy, I'm kind of lost. I don't understand it. I can't see it yet, and I'm sure they have a plan, of course. But are we going to see that plan fully thought through? Are we going to see it happen?
I'd almost be down. Sorry to interrupt, but I'd almost be down to see the Bride take over Frankenstein's kind of role, because she was only in maybe 10 minutes of Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And she's this staple character of the Universal roster. Because that she was just that iconic and that groundbreaking in 1932 or 33. And it would be a really ballsy, interesting movie to set up Frankenstein, set up this kind of quote-unquote relationship and have her be the character that kind of continues throughout their franchise or whatever. Because that's different. I mean, it could be done well. It could also flop super hard, but it could be done really well. It's something fresh and original, and I could see it working somehow.
Okay, let me throw this out here, and this is going to sound as un-PC as possible. But let me throw this out here. Do you think, and I'm going to start with you, Chris, do you think female-led movies work at the box office when they are not proven names? And I'll give an example. I'll give 2 examples. Let's take Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's all about Rey, correct? Female lead, Jedi, quote unquote. And then let's say Atomic Blonde. We get Charlize Theron, a proven actress. You know, Daisy Ridley's not a proven actress. She just nailed the role. But Charlize Theron is a proven actress, an Academy Award winner, does it all, right? Last thing that you go gaga for is Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road. And now she's doing this kick-ass role. And the movie doesn't even, it doesn't really meet expectations, per se. It doesn't knock it out of the park. So going into something in that line, in that sense of thinking, using, because we just got The Mummy, and Sophia Boutella was the Mummy. She was the female-led character. That, it's her movie, even though it's a Tom Cruise movie. But she's the title character. It's not Tom Cruise. Going into a Bride of Frankenstein along the lines that Matt just set up, where instead of doing it Frankenstein, let's do it Bride of Frankenstein, and then work our way down. Do you think that works with everything we've seen so far?
I mean, it's hard to say. There's really no guarantees. Even if you have a star, look at Ghost in the Shell. You had Scarlett Johansson, who is an A-lister, who is a top billed actress in America, and it's an established franchise, and that movie tanked. A lot of that had to do with the fan base not being satisfied with her being cast because they didn't think that it should have been an American actress. But things like that are never really guaranteed. Gal Gadot wasn't an established actress. Wonder Woman, in the amongst us, we love Wonder Woman, but in the mainstream, Wonder Woman isn't really that big of a character.
Well, I gotta beg to differ. Only because before we were around.
In the comic book world, yeah. In the geek world, yeah. She's one of the top 3.
Even before that. Mainstream. Think about Linda Carter and her Wonder Woman show. Look at how long it took
to get the movie off the ground. Look how long it took the movie off the ground, because so many different attempts had failed because nobody was really clamoring for Wonder Woman. Or
really clamoring for a female-led superhero movie, because we had a couple of these before. Charlize Theron is a perfect example. Aeon Flux, not good. Not good. And granted, Wonder Woman is a bigger IP than Aeon Flux was, and Furiosa was an original IP, but Mad Max was a proven title, Then you have Atomic Blonde. I see what you're saying with Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is really, I think she is a strong force, not in our realm, but not as big as, let's say, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and now Iron Man and the rest of the Avengers. But I think she was a strong enough force outside of pop culture because of the TV show. Because in the 70s when, the blockbuster really wasn't around, people had TV, color TV. Oh, Wonder Woman. You see Linda Carter doing a spin thing. It's there. I get it. It did simmer for a very long time. I just don't think they knew how to do it yet.
But that's just going back to the point I'm making. It's you never really know what is going to make a movie a hit. There are certain things that you can bank on, chances are if you put Will Smith in a movie, it's going to make money. Or you put Will Smith in a movie with his son, and it tanks. You never really quite know what's going to work and what's going to not. All you can do is hedge your bets on what's worked before and hope that it works again. That's why I don't like the idea of Hollywood doing this. Will a female-led movie work? Will this work? Will that work? Will a movie with a mostly black cast work? Do it and see if it works. But don't just assume because it worked in one movie that it'll work in another. Don't assume that just because it didn't work in one movie that it won't work in another. It's just so many factors that drive. It's the marketing, it's the actors themselves, it's the story. Do people give a shit about this kind of story and everything like that? if they were doing a 2-hour live-action movie about Falcon instead of Black Panther, would that be as popular? Probably not.
It also depends.
Anthony Mackie is somewhat of a popular actor. Maybe not an A-lister, but he's somewhat of a popular actor. People do like him. But I don't think people would give as much of a shit as like Black. But does that mean that because Black Falcon wouldn't be popular, they shouldn't do Black Lightning or something like that? Like, you get what I'm saying? You never know what people are going to come out for.
Right. I something like in the example of Falcon, the way he was introduced in Civil War. Winter Soldier, and then utilized in Civil War. Hell, even Ant-Man. There's an argument there. I would personally, I like Anthony Mackie, and I like his portrayal of the Falcon. Sam Wilson. I don't think I'd go see a Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, aka Captain America movie. I don't know. I didn't want to see Ant-Man. I lucked out. I got a free ticket, well, pretty free. Then I get burnt. I see Doctor Strange, and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? And that's a proven name, Benedict Cumberbatch. But no, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But like getting back to the point, like could a film like if you make it entirely about the Bride of Frankenstein and she's the lead character, could it work? Yeah, depending on who the actress is, depending on how what the story is, what glimpse of the story we get from the trailer and everything like that, could drum up some interest in everything. Or it could be a massive failure. There's really no way of knowing until you do it.
Gotcha. So Matt, it's a failure. Do you think it's a failure now, or do you think there's a chance that it can be revitalized?
I think it can be revitalized without yet another reboot, but I'm not holding my breath.
Chris, same question.
I think it's still. I think they would have to change the tone of the movies. For me, I think what would work best is something along the lines of like a tone of like a Penny Dreadful.
Ooh, yes.
Because Penny Dreadful did like the supernatural, fighting evil and everything like that, but still kept like the horror aspect of it. Should they do it exactly like Penny Dreadful? No, you don't want to be accused of being a Penny Dreadful knockoff. But like something similar in tone in like the modern era, I think it could work.
I love that analogy, and honestly, Universal, if you're listening to us, listen to Matt, listen to Chris. Exactly that. Keep it going, mold it in a Penny Dreadful form, and I think that would absolutely work. Penny Dreadful was pretty popular. I guess it didn't get enough ratings. I guess it's Game of Thrones season. But, Chris, man, you nailed that. I absolutely 100% agree with a Penny Dreadful look at the dark universe. I love it. All right, let's move on real quick. I want to talk about real quick The Lion King. We spoke about this a couple of weeks back when D23, so we're going a couple of weeks back. D23, they were talking about Hugh Jackman playing the voice of Scar. Now, apparently, I guess that wasn't confirmed because we now have Chiwetel Ejiofor, who is confirmed to play Scar, which, Chris, I think you might have said you'd rather have seen this way back then, a couple weeks back. Well, it happened. What are your thoughts?
I'm extremely excited. Like you mentioned, he was one of my top picks. Like, for me, it was between the two names that came to my mind right off the bat when they announced this thing and they started casting actors. So I want either Idris Elba or Chiwetel Ejiofor. Now I know Idris Elba or Idris, how he pronounced it, was a long shot because he had already played Shere Khan in Jon Favreau's Jungle Book movie, and Jon Favreau's doing The Lion King. I don't think he's going to be having the same actor play two evil lions or lion and tiger or whatever like that, big jungle cats, and and his scene whatever. So I knew Idris Elba was a stretch. So runner-up for me, very close runner-up, was Chiwetel Ejiofor. And I'm glad I got him because he has like that, if you ever hear him in interviews and everything like that, because most of the movies that we've seen him in now, he does feign the American accent.
Yep.
A few roles that he's been in, you hear him speaking his natural voice. His natural voice has like that kind of like posh British kind of sinister aspect. Well, not sinister, but when he leans into it, it could be sinister.
Doctor Strange.
So, exactly. So when he leans into it, it could be sinister and everything like that. And it's, they've investigated this before. Like, when they talked about David Tennant as Kilgrave, like what made him so menacing, and it's the people feel like that sort of posh British accent it's intelligent, it's hoity-toity, but it's also kind of like this. You don't trust it because you feel like they're constantly manipulating you somehow. So Chiwetel Ejiofor has that element to his voice, and I think he'd be the perfect star. And he's gonna do amazing in this movie.
Yo, you said David Tennant, and you ain't lying, because even as Doctor Who, he had this thing, and you said you fucking nailed it perfectly. There is this posh, like, you gotta believe him, and he would lead you into battle. And they even made episodes about the fact that this dude is so convincing and so charming, he's leading you to your death, and you follow it. You're absolutely right. I love that, man. That was a great analogy, man.
The same thing is with Tom Hiddleston as Loki. There's that kind of effect to the voice where, like, they're somewhat arrogant in their own intelligence and everything like that, and like you kind of don't trust them because there's something like weird about that voice where there's something sinister going on.
Gotcha. Matt, what do you think, man? Chiwetel Ejiofor, a lot of people first found him out in Serenity, the movie version of Firefly, which is a great, phenomenal show that Fox put on and canceled after one season. Fuck Fox for that. But Serenity was great, and Chiwetel Ejiofor in that movie was phenomenal. What do you think of him playing Scar?
Can you give me something else he's been in? Because I didn't.
Doctor Strange. He was Baron Mordo.
In Doctor Strange.
Okay, the black guy.
A bunch of stuff.
He was the black guy. There's no other way around it. He was the black guy in Doctor Strange. Yeah, you saw Doctor Strange though.
I did. I don't remember much about that movie. Let alone the characters.
He was Doctor Strange's friend when he went to the fake Nanda Parbat. I can't think of the fucking name, and I just saw this movie like 2 weeks ago. He was the one that basically brought Doctor Strange in and molded him almost. He was his
yeah. Okay.
That's Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Well, like if you ever saw that shitty Mark Wahlberg movie, Four Brothers, he was the bad guy in that movie too.
He was the bad guy in that movie?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta watch that. I like Four Brothers, man. Fuck. I did. I saw that in a movie theater, bro. I like that movie. I can't lie. I really did like it.
He's the one that Mark Wahlberg beat the shit out of at the end.
Oh shit, I'm mad. I honestly know. I'm sorry, man. We're gonna get to you. I thought that was fucking I thought that was Rhodes from Iron Man 1. What's his name? From Empire. I thought that was him.
No, he was the cop that was telling them to stay away from that dude.
Shit, man. I gotta watch that movie again. Oh, we way jumped off. Yo, Matt. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Baron Mordo, Doctor Strange. That's what you know him from. But if you really want to see a good movie with him, Red Belt. There's a Sony Classics movie.
Yes.
Watch Red Belt. Really good fucking movie. Performance, he kills it. I love that movie. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, I don't really have an opinion on the whole thing, I guess, because I don't really know his acting that well, and also I'm not really much of a Disney guy, so I super don't care about The Lion King, like, at all. So, pass, I guess.
I'm gonna tell you something, Matt. When that movie comes out, I'm gonna go to Minnesota. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna buy you a ticket, and we're gonna go see it together, hand in hand.
That's I'm down to do that, but just don't expect me to be excited to go see the movie.
You're gonna be excited to see the movie because I'm gonna be there, and that's exciting enough. Okay?
Yes, that's exciting, but seeing the movie I don't really care about. I didn't care about The Jungle Book, and I didn't see The Jungle Book. I don't care about Aladdin. I don't care about fucking Beauty and the Beast. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. So that's funny you said that. I had this conversation with my wife earlier today. We were talking about how Disney is smart with their game plan. Beauty and the Beast. I saw the movie. I didn't go to the theaters. I gotta be honest. My wife did. She went twice with my daughter. They loved it. I don't care about that movie. I wasn't a fan growing up with that movie. It's all right, whatever. I honestly rather watch The Little Mermaid. And yeah, it's a chick flick, but in terms of quality and enjoyment, I get more enjoyment out of The Little Mermaid. That being said, I like what Disney's doing with their live action shit because you can get a little bit darker, especially now because the kids that you aimed these movies at originally are adults now with children. And it makes sense. And in this day and age, the children get it. They understand the world we live in somewhat if the parents are doing their job. And we can kind of get over this little... Because Disney don't overdo it with the horror or the visceral shit, right? Fantasia maybe. Sleepy Hollow, The Legend of Ichabod Crane. Yeah, that shit was scary. I don't care what nobody says. That used to freak me out as a child. But Disney does it right. And I'll tell you, Beauty and the Beast aside, I mean, it is cool for the girls who grew up with that shit. And now, you know, I'm looking forward to The Little Mermaid only because, again, like I said, I'd much rather watch that than than Beauty and the Beast. But something like The Jungle Book, dude, that's a really good movie because it's not catered to a boy-specific, girl-specific. It's just a really good story, honestly. And what Jon Favreau did in that movie, with that live act, I was astounded. I was like, my God. Because first of all, you got to look at the special effects, right? And what he did with the animals. But then the little kid, he had a little boy who had nothing around him but green screen shit. And this little kid came off so convincing as Mowgli. Matt, I'll tell you, take the Disney name out of it and just give it a watch. Just as a movie. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by that. And I think Jungle Book will do the same. Not Jungle Book, oh my God. Lion King, I think it'll do the same. Because there's no human actors. It's going to be all CG, but in the same style as the Jungle Book. But 3 years later, as far as technology is concerned. 3 years further along. But man, I swear to God, man, do yourself a favor. Check out The Jungle Book. Don't look at it as a Disney movie. Just look at it as a film. It's a really good movie, dude. I think you might enjoy it. And I may be wrong. You come back and say, yo, I hated it.
I'll consider it. I'm like I said, I'm not... Disney stories, I mean, even taking the Disney name out of it, I'm just still not super interested.
You got to remember, though, it's not a Disney story. It's not. Disney adapted the story. But it's not a Disney original. So, you know.
I know, but Disney kind of stories, the stories that they adapt, they don't grab me. They don't really do much for me. I don't get invested in those kind of stories.
I gotcha. All right, Matt just wants blood and guts in his movies. That's cool.
Very true.
He likes Shin Godzilla. Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of...
Also on the Lion King, they did cast their Sarabi as well. Simba's mother is going to be Alfre Woodard.
I like that.
Yeah. For the most recent thing you guys would have seen her in was, well, she was in Civil War. She was the mother that complained to Tony Stark that her son died. But also she was another character in the MCU when she played the bad guy Mariah in Luke Cage. So that's going to be that actress is going to be the voice of Sarabi.
And Luke Cage is Matt's favorite Netflix show, which is a great show, hands down. But the greatest Netflix Marvel show is Iron Fist. Let's just be for real.
Stop it.
I'll never stop. All right, real quick. I want Fuck, there was something I wanted to incorporate that with Universal just now, and now I forgot. But anyhow, I'm moving along. All right. So yes, Lion King, we got that going. Next thing up, real quick, I want to touch upon this because, Chris, you saw something about YouTube Red and the Karate Kid. I want you to explain this to us, okay? Because I'm still not sure what the fuck this means. So, Chris, YouTube Red and the Karate Kid, what the hell is going on?
All right, so basically, they ask for relevance. I don't care what anyone says. YouTube Red is failing. Nobody gives a shit about YouTube Red. And to grasp at relevance, YouTube Red next year will be pushing out a Karate Kid-based series called Cobra Kai, which will reunite Ralph Macchio and what's this guy's name that played
the guy that got kicked in the face?
Johnny.
Yeah.
And with Billy Zabka, who played Johnny in Karate Kid. Apparently what the series is about is that he's down on his luck, the Cobra Kai kid, down on his luck, not doing so well in life, reopens the Cobra Kai gym, which kind of restarts his feud with Danny Russo, Ralph Macchio's character in the Karate Kid. And it's going to be 10 30-minute episodes. Only now, Danny Russo's not going to have the sage advice of Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, because he's dead.
Not around anymore. He's dead. So it's going to be the Karate Kid as adults, middle-aged Karate Kid. I'm going to refer to it from now on as Karate Midlife Crisis. But yeah, YouTube Red is putting out this series because right now all YouTube Red really has going for it is these YouTube stars who haven't really been able to make that much of a name for themselves. Not really like a lot of big original content for YouTube Red. They've got Rhett and Link. They got a lot of other people that made the name for themselves on YouTube doing like these little shows. But there's really not that much of a buzz about it, the same way you hear from like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or anything like that. So I think, YouTube is trying to start to build more original series that's not centered around these lower name, like I hate to say lower name people, because these content creators, they are good. I can't knock them. They make good content. They obviously did good enough to build up the millions of fans on YouTube that they have. But I guess it's just not drawing the attention to this YouTube Red channel thing, whatever like that YouTube wants to do. I guess not that many people are willing to pay the $10 a month when they already get YouTube for free. So they're pushing out this new series, Karate Midlife Crisis, and that's more or less the gist of it.
Dear YouTube.
Really.
Dear Billy YouTube. You already got something like this. It's called Netflix. Get out of the fucking zone. Are you serious? A motherfucking...
Yes, I'm very serious.
Listen, hey, first and foremost, okay, Daniel's son is no longer a Karate Kid. He's a Karate Grandpa. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Karate Kid... That dude was like 20 years old when I was 6. And I'm pushing 40. So think about that, okay? Yeah, this is terrible. Absolutely. Who the fuck wants to watch this? This is terrible. Think about it. Netflix is doing a bunch of shit, right? Netflix wouldn't touch this. Amazon wouldn't touch this. Fuck, Hulu wouldn't touch this. YouTube is that desperate? I mean, like, who came to who with this? Because this is a terrible concept. The Cobra Kai guy, Johnny, is upset because he got kicked in the face 36 years ago? So now he wants to restart Cobra Kai, and it's not even called the Karate Kid. It shouldn't even be called Karate. I'm totally against this. Where's Will Smith's son? Where's Jackie Chan? Let's get that sequel going. Let's make it happen. Matt, what do you think of this shit?
I generally don't care. I don't watch. I subscribe to YouTube Red. Hate me all you want. I don't watch any of the original stuff, but I've never even considered watching it. It all seems super boring and uninteresting to me, and I try to get it out of my YouTube homepage every chance I get, because I don't know if you guys how familiar you are with YouTube's layout, but you can they'll be like suggested for you YouTube Red Originals, and it'll have a little X in the corner, click on that X, and it'll say, all right, well, you won't see this anymore, and we'll remove it for your suggestions and stuff. Okay, next week, it's back up there. So they're really pushing hard to YouTube Red, but I only subscribe to it for being able to listen to music at work on my phone with the screen off. because that's really helpful. But yeah, generally I don't care. Like, Karate Kid's like a super irrelevant thing now. It was irrelevant when they tried to remake it with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's kid. It stopped being relevant around Karate Kid 2. Now, if we're going back to the like early 90s family-friendly ninja or like kung fu craze, I would totally be down for a reboot of that series called Three Ninjas.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally down for that.
Bring back Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum, man.
Oh my God, you remember their names?
Yeah, that's what I'd be down for. I would watch that YouTube original, but I don't give a fuck.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If YouTube Red did Three Ninjas, I probably would subscribe to that.
Fuck y'all both. Listen, man, Hilary Swank has an Academy Award on her shelf, and she was the next Karate Kid. That's all I'm saying. Oh, shut y'all down. Quick. Look at y'all. Terrible.
I'm gonna go on Facebook immediately after this with the hashtag Bring Back Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum.
Oh, completely ignored my Hilary Swank comment. Okay, I gotcha. Man. No, yo, hey, Matt, you make a really, you know what? That's funny. I would not watch the Three Ninjas. I could not stand the Three Ninjas at all. But I guess I was a little bit older than y'all, so I understand why y'all love it. I can't deal with that shit. I like Karate Kid 2. That's where it ends. Because I really don't care for Karate Kid 1, honestly. I think it might have been the Japanese setting of Karate Kid 2, and it's probably on a Universal Studio backlot, where it was filmed. But
I mean, the only thing that would draw my interest in me is if they go like really dark with it, like really FX, AMC kind of dark, like Johnny's an alcoholic now, and like he lives in a trailer, his whole life is falling apart around him, and it just gets really, really, really dark. That might draw my interest because I would love to see like that juxtaposition of like this family. Now it's like all the substance abuse issues going on and stuff. But it just, it really does just ring out like you said, this guy is mad at Daniel Russo because his life fell apart because 30 years ago he got kicked in the face in a karate tournament. Like, get over it, dude.
yeah,
move on with your life.
Karate's a thing about discipline. It's come on, like, it's stupid. This concept is absolutely retarded, honestly. And I don't mean that in a way. I mean, this is fucking retarded. It's stupid. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I don't understand how executives say, hey, yeah, let's push that. Hey, listen, YouTube execs, we're here. We're on YouTube. Like, fucking push us. I'm guarantee you every week we can put out better material than your Cobra Kai Johnny's depressed because he got kicked in the nose shit. Fuck out of here. Just give us three.
No, honestly, jokes aside, that whole, something that they went really dark with it. What would really get me to embrace this is if they show that they were going to embrace the Daniel is the bully was the actual bully theory.
Nah, but you can't do that because that negates the whole first movie. It negates the movie. They were bullies. Mr. Miyagi saw that. He saw He saw Daniel getting picked on, and he kind of like yelled at him. He was like, all right, I'm not going to fuck with this kid, but he was doing it on purpose. It was a tough love. And then as Daniel's-son understood what Mr. Miyagi was doing, then boom, Mr. Miyagi was like, now you get it. Let's go and let's get it back. So you can't really do that.
Because Mr. Miyagi was seeing things from Daniel's perspective. Daniel was telling him what was going on and everything like that. I honestly think that this show would work because the whole thing is like, he still has that grudge with Daniel and everything like that. As the series progresses, you actually start to see Daniel as like a manipulative sociopath. That's why this guy still has the grudge after all these years. Because Daniel's been going out and playing through his life.
But then you gotta negate Karate Kid 2 and 3, especially 2 when he goes to Japan. He fell in love with that hot Japanese girl, Emiko or Yomiko or Sumiko, something like that. It was a huge Huge love thing, and he did the fucking drum punch. Matt, you remember the drum punch?
No.
No, of course
not at all.
You've never seen any of the Karate Kid movies.
Like 10 years ago I did.
I'm not talking about the Jackie Chan one, Matt.
I'm not talking about that one. I never even saw that one.
That's a good movie. I gotta be honest with you. I can't even front. That Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, that was good.
Me.
Yeah, that is good. That is a really good movie. That is the way I could see it done.
In spite of Jaden Smith.
What was that?
It's a good movie in spite of Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were put off with the remake because of Jaden Smith. In spite of him, it turned out to be a really good movie.
See, I had no problem with that kid back then. I still don't have a problem with him. Yeah, he's a little wacky now in real life, but that doesn't affect me any. I go to the movies for entertainment purposes, and him and Jackie Chan entertained me the same way him and Will Smith entertained me, not in that space movie with M. Night Shyamalan, but the one where Will Smith was
Pursuit of Happiness?
Yes, Pursuit of Happiness. That was a good movie. That movie touched my heart. But all right. Fuck that. Let's get out of here. Karate Kid YouTube, which is absolutely asinine. Before we move on to our next segment, I just want to throw this out there. My buddy Chris right here, and someone we mention quite often here, Peter Lawton, they put together a 48-hour short film called The Heretic, which... I gotta be honest, man. I watched it and I was like, and you explained it to me, but as you explained it to me, I was putting pieces together, but it was completely different when I watched it and listened to everything put together as one, and I was like, wow, I fucking enjoyed this. But okay, so ran by our own C. Monty and Peter Lawton, directed by Peter Lawton, we have The Heretic. I'm gonna put a link over here in the description for this. Chris, tell us, man, what the hell went on? What was your thought process when you came up with this? Because you was a co-writer on this. Or what was the thought process on this?
Just to give a little background, Deviant Children Production, which you probably, I'm not sure if you remember when we worked with them on Kung Fu Bum. He played the bastard monk.
I remember all of that, yes.
And Pete, with his Chapter Graffiti label, for the past 7 months or so, they've been doing their own little 48-hour film challenge. So they got the idea from this thing called the 48-hour film race. They have the 24-hour film race and then the 48-hour film race. Every year or so, something like that, they run this. You have 48 hours to write, shoot, and edit your movie for this contest. So in order to kind of push themselves to create more consistent content for their YouTube channel and everything like that, they started doing this monthly 48-hour film challenge for themselves, where they have the 48 hours to get this film shot and edited. So this past month, July, was Peter's turn, and he had the idea. We were all out for his birthday. Is where the thing came out. It was around July 8th, his birthday. We were hanging out, talking what he wanted to do for his short film project, and he was like, he had this idea for a short film that involved exorcism, but he wasn't quite sure how to end it. Like, I haven't figured out the ending and everything like that. So just kind of on a whim, I said, well, what if at the end we do a twist thing where it turns out that the priest wasn't actually trying to exorcise a demon from somebody. He wasn't trying to get him unpossessed, but he was actually trying to make the person be possessed. Like the priest actually worked on behalf of the devil or demons or whatever like that, and was trying to, make the person be possessed. And there's been maybe 2 or 3 times in the past where I've pitched an idea to Peter, and he just right off the bat, that's it, we're doing, that's what we're doing. He didn't question it. He didn't think that it was, shoot it down or anything. That was just right back. That's how the movie ends. That's how we're going to do it. And this is one of those times where he's just like, that actually is a solid idea. I love it. Let's do that. So we worked the kinks out, and we sat down one day and we just kind of wrote the story out and fleshed out the script and everything like that. And and then we went and we shot it. This other person that they work with, this guy that's in the band, Sebastian, his apartment complex, or the apartment building that he lives in, they had like this super creepy basement. Because it was like a converted brownstone, I believe. It looks like a converted brownstone that they put a bunch of apartments in and everything like that. And it has like this super creepy basement. Like if you went down to this basement, you would have looked around like, yeah, people have definitely been murdered here. Like, it's off that vibe. Like, we go downstairs and there's like this sealed off door with like a little hatchet next to it. Like, yeah, there's like fresh drywall. Like, yeah, somebody definitely murdered here, and they covered it up and everything like that. So that's the vibe it's perfect for a short film like this that is involving, like, you know, evil spirits and demons and stuff like that. So we went out and we shot it, and you know, the link you post up would be the end result. But that's more or less the gist of it. You know, Peter couldn't figure out. He had the idea for an exorcism movie, couldn't figure out the endings, and I was just like, what if the priest isn't actually trying to exorcise demons? What if he's actually trying to possess people?
I love that twist.
That was the M. Night Shyamalan. What the twist?
Yeah, I love that twist. Let me ask you, whose idea was it to film it using that color palette? Because I know Pete was, and I think I might have said this much to him in a text. He was using this Mario Brava. He was on this kick, a Mario Brava kick.
That was all Pete.
Yo, it was all Pete, because that color palette, man, really brought me back to, like, whoa. When I used to go hang out with my cousin, when he worked in a video store, and we used to watch these obscure movies, when he would close, and we would stay there for like 2 extra hours, watching movies, and then we just take a bunch of films and go back to his house and binge watch till like 4 or 5 in the morning. It was, that was all Pete.
Yeah.
Matt, let me ask you, man, did you get a chance to check this out yet?
I didn't even know this was the thing. Nobody told me.
Oh, it's getting posted. We're going to put it in the link. I'm going to post it on a G Show Wednesday. But yeah, man, dude, I got to just say, man, congratulations on it, because honestly, this was really good. And the other day, hey, for all y'all out there, y'all want more of a taste of this, go follow Chopstick Graffiti on YouTube, and Deviant Children Productions. Follow them too, man, because I went the other day and I was like, wait a minute. And I forgot. There's a different... I switched my YouTube shit up, so I didn't have them followed on here. And I was like, wait a minute. So I was watching, you know... I was watching Kung Fu Bum. Not that I'm in it. Not like that. I ain't nobody important. Just the master. I'm just saying. But I was in it. But yeah, dude, I was watching like old school Kung Fu Bum shit. The short you did with... K Gaines, and I was like, this shit is crazy. And then I worked my way up until the Heretic. And seriously, man, massive props to you guys.
The last one that Pete did too, right before the Heretic, the one that he directed, Sophia.
Sophia was great.
That one.
Sophia was great.
I fell in love with that movie. I was blown away by it.
I remember Peter talking to me about that a couple months back, and explaining his thought process behind it. And I was like, man, that shit sounds great. And I never thought that's what would have came out of it. But I just want to give y'all massive props.
We rag on Peter and everything like that because we tend to disagree with him like a lot of movies and everything like that.
It's all about the comic books.
People who are listening at home probably like, who is this mysterious Peter that they're always ragging on? Let me tell you something, man. Peter doesn't give himself a lot of credit, but he's pretty genius when it comes to story, like coming up with these stories and then like, you know, shooting them and everything like that. Like he his own worst critic, but like he directs the shit out of a movie, man.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And you're absolutely right. I don't think he does give himself enough credit, but he has good people around him that do give him the credit. And I just want to say, yo, Pete, I know you're not listening, not yet. This will probably be up on iTunes next year. I fucking love you, brother, and I always said that you're the man, bro. So. Yeah, yo, keep it up, Chris, man. Keep pushing that dude. If I was still out there in New York, man, I hit him in the head with a fucking shovel. I watched that fucking movie, man. I watched us as the zombie shit where we ate your guts. That shit was 9 years ago, man. Holy shit. That was 9 years ago. Oh, man, all right.
Thanks for making me feel old, bro.
Yeah, oh yeah. Who are you talking to? All right, last thing. I really did want to I wanted to pimp that. I wanted to plug that. Y'all go check it out. The Heretic. It's on YouTube. Go to Chopstick Graffiti. Go to Deviant Children Productions. Check it out on YouTube. It is freaking cool as shit. All right, last thing in the mix. Throw this out there. Last week and today, okay, we got 2 images from Deadpool 2. The first image we got last week was of Domino, Zazie Beetz. I'm saying that right, Chris?
I don't know.
All right, Zazie Beetz.
I don't know how she pronounces it.
Zazie Beetz as Domino in Deadpool 2. The image was dropped last week. I posted up on G-Show page. I've got my opinions on it. The only negative thing I've got to say, because in all honesty, I love the image. I love the image. I love the playful nature of it. I love the fact that it was...
I bet you I know why you love it.
What? Say that again.
I said, I bet you I know why you love the image.
No, I don't. Well, there's cleavage, but that's not the reason. I love the image because of the playful nature of that original Deadpool. I think it was. It might have been the Deadpool 2 poster. It might have even been.
No, the first Deadpool poster. He's in front of the fireplace. And
right.
Like that.
Yeah. And now that he's like the bear, he's the rug. I love it. She's gorgeous.
She is.
The costume is perfect. Because here's the thing. I'm a Domino fan from the comics. When I first saw Rob Liefeld's Domino in X-Force 1, because I didn't know about New Mutants, I bought X-Force 1 because it was a #1, right? And now in my head, back in the 90s, early 90s, it was like, oh, it's a #1. It's going to be worth money later on. That's how I looked at it as a comic book fan, as a comic book collector. So I bought it. And I fell in love with that comic book. So I bought #2. Then I bought #3. And I went all the way up to like number 30. And then I stopped buying it because then Rob Liefeld at that point wasn't doing art. Greg Capullo was. And I think after that he fell off. Long story short, there was something about Domino. As a kid, you know, and let's not fake the funk here. If y'all listening to this podcast, y'all all geeks, there's been one particular point in your life where you had a crush on either a comic book, a cartoon. There was something there. Let's be for real. My wife, you know.
Only one?
Well, no, I got multiples. Don't get me started, motherfucker. Josie and them pussycat.
I still get crushes on cartoon characters.
That's my point. So, but Domino, there was something about Domino, like, she fit my mold. Like, for me personally, I liked a girl with the short hair straight. You know what I mean? Like, that was my thing. And I loved the way Liefeld drew her. I was like, oh my God. Even Capullo, when he drew her, I was like, shit, I loved her. I loved Zazie Beetz. I love the idea of, instead of the white skin with the black domino patch, whatever you want to call it, the black skin with the white patch. I fucking love that. It's the hair. I gotta be honest. I've got to be honest. I do not like the hair. And it's because when I first saw Domino, that straight short hair, that shoulder cropped hair with the bangs, that got me. It got me. And that's the Domino I know. And that was 20 some odd years ago, almost $30. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I totally get the afro. I absolutely get the afro. I'm just not a fan of the afro. Everything else is Domino. You take the afro off, that's Domino. She could be bald. It's still Domino. And again, I love the black skin with the white patch. I was like, man, that's fucking clever. Like, it blew me away. It's just the afro. I can't get behind the afro because I like the short hair. And then, you know, that's me being picky. And people might be like, oh, shut the fuck up, blah, 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 and get all social justice warrior on me. You can do that. That's fine. That's what I want. Bring it. Put it in the comment section. Knock me the fuck off. But that's how I feel. I like her. I think she's gorgeous outside the makeup. But I just don't like the afro. So I'm going to start with you, Matt. Being the youngest one here. And not knock. But, like, what is your take? Do you know who Domino is and then seeing this? Or are you just, like, indifferent to it?
I'm very vaguely familiar with the character. I never really read much Deadpool or X-Force, so I don't really know much about her. I just know the internet is that she's black, and that's that seems like the most Deadpool thing that they could do is like take this beloved character and like, you know, like here she is, you know, deal with it. And I think that's amazing. But I like it. I dig the Afro. Keep in mind I have really no knowledge of who she is as a character or her abilities or her personality. But I dig the look. I dig the the play on the first original poster with her in the fireplace and Deadpool's costumes. The rug, love it. I don't really know much about the actress either. So I'm coming at it with a very open mind, but like I can safely say that none of us here care about the race switch or anything like that. It's not like, you know, it's nothing. It's not a big deal at all. So I don't understand why people are so mad about that. But yeah, I think she looks great. I'm interested to see just how it goes. Like, I'm just excited for Deadpool 2 in general. Kind of rambling, but yeah, I like it.
I totally agree with you. It's not an issue for me for the race switch because, in all honesty, Domino could have been any race she wanted to in the comic books. She's pale, like completely pale white. It's like that's not makeup. That's just a skin tone, apparently. So I'm cool with that, you know. And like I know it's like I said, it was just the Afro, and it's not about Afrocentric or nothing like that. I just like my Domino with the short, you know, straight hair. I don't care.
It's about the style of the hair, not really necessarily like the...
Exactly, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, they're going to get the character right. Domino's whole thing is she's lucky. So I'm totally ready for that. Like, I love... Even if I didn't see... If I was, like I said, if I was blind and I could just read in Braille and they didn't describe her, they just, you know, told me what her mutant abilities was, I dig it. Oh, shit, that's fucking dope. She's lucky. She gets out of situations. I'm with that. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know the actress's background. I don't know what Zazie Beetz' background is in terms of acting goes. But they saw something in her to put her in, and it wasn't her hair. So I'm ready to rock and roll with it. I totally am. And I agree with you, man. It shouldn't be about the color of her skin. The portrayal's got to be, like I said, just the hairstyle. I don't like the hairdo. That's it. Chris.
Yeah. I'm more or less the same way. Like, for me, like, you know, the same thing. I'm not really as familiar with the character. I didn't get into as heavy into comic books and everything like as you did and everything like that. So unless it was something that was like mainstream, that was showing up every week on the X-Men cartoon series or like showing up in the movies and stuff like that, I'm not really that familiar with it. But yeah, just to go back on that point, like I've always said, as far as like the race swapping and movie roles like this and everything like that, is if the character's ethnicity or race isn't inherent to their actual character. Like, you couldn't do Black Panther with a white person because he's the king of a secluded African nation. You know, it's nothing but black people. He's a black person. Like, that's inherent to his character. But you take a look at the flip side and everything when people getting up in arms about the possibility of casting a black Peter Parker, and I know a lot of people were opposed to that. I personally didn't care because Peter Parker's ethnicity isn't necessarily inherent to his character. As long as he still behaves like Peter Parker, I don't care if he's white, black, Hispanic, Indian, or Chinese. If he's Peter Parker, he's Peter Parker. It's not his being a certain ethnicity doesn't necessarily inform his character. I'm seeing making that. So I get that people, but what I'm saying is, for me, my thing, if the character's ethnicity doesn't inform their character, I don't care who you cast for it, so long as they get the character right.
Man.
As long as they're the best performer for that character. They did something that, you know, whatever you were trying to do with the character, they did something that nailed it, you know, the right actor for the right role. That's my take on it. I really don't care as long as they get the character right, so long as the ethnicity isn't inherent to the character.
Now, you know,
that part doesn't bother me.
All right, look, man, this is where the podcast gets juicy. I gotta disagree with you on the Peter Parker thing, and it's not a knock to any other ethnicity. It's just that You have a character that's been around for 60 plus years as a particular thing. You leave that character there. Now, I understand how Michael B. Jordan became Johnny Storm. But you see how that turned out, right? Brian Michael Bendis said, you know what? He thought just like you, Chris. He thought just like you. He said, we might need a new Spider-Man for a modern era. Enter Miles Morales. He creates this character, black and Puerto Rican, which, hey, let's rock and roll. And there were a ton of people, because I was following this shit, because I'm a Spider-Man fan, who hated the idea of a black and Puerto Rican kid as Spider-Man. And you say, well, whoa, time out. This has nothing to do with what's going on in the regular Marvel Universe. This is the Ultimate Universe. And Peter Parker has passed away. Spoiler alert, he came back. So, I think Brian Michael Bendis was on the same level you were on as far as, look, it doesn't really matter, but the fans are going to fucking wild out. And I'm not one of the fans that will wild out, but I'm going to say that I would definitely voice my opinion. Peter Parker should be a white kid from Queens, absolutely, until, you know, the day the Earth explodes. I don't feel it necessary to make him a black kid or a Puerto Rican kid or a Chinese kid or an Arabic kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not a knock to any of those races. It's really not.
Can I just interject? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they should have made him a black kid or something. What I'm saying is that open the field up. If a black actor happens to nail the character better than a white actor does,
I agree with you. No, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, as a let's put it like this, as a casting director, I'm looking for a white male between 16 to 19. White male. That's Peter Parker. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who nails the role, who can nail the character. That's what this was for the past 60 plus years. Now, you know, it's really crazy. If we can cryogenically freeze all three of us for the next 50 to 100 years, and we come out of cryogenic freeze and we say, oh shit, the Earth's still around. Oh shit, people really like the G-Show podcast. We got over 1 billion views. And we can see that there's like a fucking alien gray Spider-Man, okay? 1 million years from now, it'd be a different story. Think about it. Spider-Man 2099. It was a Spanish kid. Bendis made a mix, black and Hispanic. Cast Miles the way you need to cast Miles. I think Peter Parker needs to stay Peter Parker. Because here's the thing. Spider-Man is more prominent than a Johnny Storm. And not knocking Johnny Storm. Fantastic Four, first family of the Marvel Universe, blah, 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 blah. The way they went about it, though, was right. He was adopted. Really good idea. The movie sucked. You know what I'm saying? I can't see any other ethnicity.
He wasn't the one that was adopted. Sue Storm was the one that was adopted.
You're absolutely right. My bad. I'm going to retract that statement. Sue Storm was adopted. Yes, you're absolutely right. And it makes a lot. It is cool in that regard because you're saying, okay, well, you know what? This minority person is actually one of the smartest people in the fucking world. And I love the idea. I do. What I miss? Fact of the matter.
For those of you following along, we apologize. We had a minor technical glitch, but now we're back on track.
Speaking of technical glitches, okay, if you go on Transformers the movie ride at Universal Studios at night, be prepared to catch a glitch. It happened to me. It glitched, but then they gave us a free pass to get front of the line shit. We went on a Mummy. Awesome shit. Mummy. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I have no problem with a Spider-Man being a different nationality. I have a problem with Peter Parker only because Peter Parker has always been a certain thing. I don't like the idea of changing a character that's been established eons ago, and I don't mean eons really, but 60 years ago, being established as a certain particular ethnicity, changing it up for political views, and that I might come out sounding like a fucking asshole, and that's fine. But I think this is where Brian Michael Bendis was like, all right, we're going to make Miles. And that Spider-Man fucking works. I fucking love Miles Morales.
No.
And he plays a
and
huge
not
part.
to get too far off, because we did just start this conversation based off of Zazie Beetz' Domino. I agree with you on that. If they're doing it for tokenism, if they're casting Peter Parker as a black kid because they want to, more diversity in the movie, I would 100% disagree with that. And it's hard to prove why the studio did it. But my thing is that if I'm in charge of the movie, I open it to a wide range of actors. If an Asian kid does the character better than a white kid, I wouldn't have a problem casting an Asian person as Peter Parker.
And
that's more or less what I'm getting to.
And that's where I guess where we are going to disagree, because I would say, man, you were really good, Asian kid, okay? But you could play his best friend in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I'm gonna keep looking for the white kid. And that's only, that sounds terrible, and it really does sound terrible. And Matt's over here in the middle like, yeah, that does sound like fucking shit. But my Peter Parker is going to always be a white male from Queens, regardless of his age, just because that's the way he was written. That's his original intention. And that's the way he's been in comic books. And you got to remember, this is what it is. It's a comic book movie. That shit's been around for 60 plus years. I'll put it like this. Stan Lee had a chance to recreate the DC universe. And it was like Stan Lee creates Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, all that shit, right? Batman was a black dude. He was a wrestler. He donned a bat suit, and it looked like a fucking bat. It wasn't like Batman. It was a bat suit. He was a wrestler. It didn't sell. It did not sell. It failed. It flopped. I bought it. I have all the issues he came out with. You know why? Because I like Stan Lee, and I love Batman. And I was like, fuck it, because that's cool. But the fact of the matter is, ain't nobody gonna buy that shit, especially when it's been around for so long. Domino's only been around for 32 years? 32? 33? Maybe. We could take Zazie Beetz, pop her in that role. She's not as significant as Spider-Man. She doesn't... Ain't no the Astonishing Domino comic or the Dominating Domino comic. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this one thing. She's a side character. She's always been. Spider-Man's front and center. That's why it's hard to change that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to change the dynamic. With Fantastic Four, it was easier to maneuver around the dynamic. You're absolutely right. Sue Storm was the adoptive one. But Reed was still white. Ben Grimm was still white. The only difference was now you have a hot-headed black teenager. Think about that for a second. Matt, your thoughts?
I thought that Ben Grimm was orange.
Fuck you. I almost died. Ben Grimm, ladies and gentlemen, according to Matt, is Donald Trump. Yo, I love you, brother. You are the fucking man. You a crazy psychopath. All right.
Stealing Ray's thunder in 3, 2, 1. Speaking of white male actors in comic book movies, they also released the image of Cable. Josh Brolin is Cable.
Chris was supposed to host this episode, by the way, so way to go.
You need like 5 minutes advance notice.
Yes. Speaking of white actors in fucking white roles, right? Okay, shut up, Chris. All right, Josh Brolin as Cable was officially released today, Monday, August 7th. We got our first official look at Cable. I think it was 2 pictures that dropped, right? Am I bugging? I don't know if it
there was the one with him like with the finger to the lip. That was just the face,
right?
Then there's the full body one, like the life of one where he had the gun behind the shoulder like that.
two.
Well, they both kind of look a little Photoshopped, but those are the official images.
Those were official, right, from Fox. Okay, so we
Yeah.
got our cable official releases. Matt, I'm going to start with you. What did you think of Josh Brolin, a.k.a. Thanos, as Cable?
A.k.a. Jonah Hex.
A.k.a. Jonah Hex. You had to throw that DC shit in there, right, brother?
Yeah, you know it. It was incredible. Fucking blew Domino out of the water for me. I was always rooting for Ron Perlman to be Cable, but I don't fucking it hurts me to say this, but fuck Ron Perlman right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that looks like Cable to me. He looks, and you know, Josh Brolin is just like, he seems like a really intimidating guy. It seems like a very kind of that old quality of like old Hollywood actor, sort of like Clint Eastwood or Robert De Niro, where he's like a really good actor, but also and seems like really well versed and smart, but also like seems really intimidating too. That's just the vibe that I get from Josh Brolin as a person. But like, oh, I'm really excited. Like, I thought that was a great image. It was, yeah, and it's kind of weird, like a sort of weird dichotomy. That we had this. I mean, we all know Deadpool, and then in his slapstick ways, I guess. And then we got Domino, which, you know, it was kind of a funny little picture or photo we got of her. But this Cable one, these Cable ones rather, are really dark and serious looking, and that's sort of interesting. But yeah, I'm excited.
Chris, what about you, man?
No, yeah, I thought they were dope. Like, when it was first announced, I was a little hesitant because, you know, Josh Brolin is also Thanos. And I was like, you know, mixing these two to, like, you know, that kind of thing between Marvel and Fox kind of sprung up for me. And I was like, this just furthers my thing that they're not going to work together in the near future or anything. So, though, to be fair, like, when he plays Thanos, most of that is mocap. Like, he's just doing the voice and everything like that. So you can still work together at some point. And he could be Cable playing against Thanos. You never know. But, like, I did the look. I always was kind of hoping for an actor who looked a little bit bigger. Like, I feel like he looks bigger than like, a lot of people. The fan favorite was Stephen Lang. I do feel like Josh Brolin does kind of look a little bit bigger than Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang was always a little too scrawny to me to be Cable. But I was hoping for someone like, what was that wrestler's name? The one that played the Russian dude in Tom Jane's Punisher movie.
Oh, Kevin Nash.
Yeah, like I was looking for someone like him, like his size and everything like that. Like I would have, although we don't know how good of an actor he really is. So, because I never really seen him do like anything like, you know, in Punisher, he was just kind of tossing Tom Jane around. Like he wasn't.
He was the Predator. He was Super Shredder, and he was Jigsaw.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like most of the stuff, he was just doing a lot of physical work. Like we never really seen him like as an actor. So it's hard for me.
Unless you watch WCW back in the freaking late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, but they always played that cheesy. You know, like a lot of that wrestling stuff is always like over the top. But that's all besides the point. Like I felt like physically he suited the role. Like he was what I envisioned for Cable. But, you know, Josh Brolin does, like Matt said, he has like that kind of hard look to him. Like one of those old school kind of like gruff dudes that like the dude that you didn't want to mess with. Like if he walked into the saloon in the old Western, like this is the guy, this is the gunslinger I got to watch out for. So he has that kind of look to him. He doesn't take shit from people, and that's what you need for Cable. Cable is the kind of guy who doesn't really take shit from people. So I'm interested to see. Obviously, he did something in the audition that made them go like, this is our Cable. This is who we want. So I'm sure they had a dearth of actors to choose from. You know, a lot of people were campaigning for that role. You know, like we said, Stephen Lang was campaigning for it. Ron Perlman was campaigning for it. So obviously he did something. Yeah. So obviously obviously Josh Brolin did something that made them settle on him. So I'm excited to see what he puts into the role.
I would say Ron Perlman is way too old, so I didn't want to see him as Cable. As much as I like him, I just couldn't do it. He's just too old. He's what, 70 something, dude? Like,
no, he's in his 60s still.
Nah, Ron Perlman is like 69.
Somebody look it up right now.
All right, you do that while I blah 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 over here. Stephen Lang, as much as he looked like Cable, I always thought him to be too, like you said, Chris, a little too small. And then I see these images of Josh Brolin as Cable, and I'm like, well, fuck, Stephen Lang could have been Cable, because he looks more like Cable than Josh Brolin does. Initially, I thought it was too small. I hated these images. I gotta be honest with you. I fucking hated these images. Absolutely did not like them. I'm 100% disgusted with it. I don't like it. And it's maybe because I'm one of those dudes where I grew up where Cable is, his shoulders are 6 feet fucking wide. And yes, that's abnormal. He's a fucking mutant. It should be. And it's a comic book. So it should be. He looked too skinny. He looked anorexic. I couldn't stand it. I mean, in all honesty, fucking McGee's Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator in Terminator Salvation would have made a better Cable. I'm just saying.
How ripped Brolin is?
I take none away. I take none away from Josh Brolin's workout routine. Nothing. But what I'm saying is, if you look at Cable in all of his iterations of comic books, this dude is jacked, man. He should be able to lay Domino, Zazie Beetz on his shoulders. And even with an afro, the shit would come to his elbow, and then whatever her biggest toe was, would be whatever his biggest finger was, and hold it straight out. You know what I'm saying? Like a torture rack. Get out of here. And that's why
I get that.
Weren't you just saying a few minutes ago how it's totally fine that Domino doesn't look like her comic book iteration. It's totally cool. I don't mind if they change the comic book look.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming. No. There's a difference. There's a big difference. There's a giant difference. Because here's the thing.
That Cable better?
No. Because Zazie Beetz, and this might sound sexist now. See, I went from being so unpolitically correct with my Domino argument now I'm going to become like the sexist sounding thing. Domino is a female in the perfect form. Like, look, if you were, oh man, how could I say this? You can see everything in negative, let's say, right? And without the hair, take the hair out of it. And you look at Domino from a comic. They draw a picture of Domino from the comic, and then you put Domino from the movie. You put them together. You're like, that makes sense. It looks like Domino. All right, cool. Because the skin tone don't make the character. It doesn't. Because the character still looks like the character from the comics. The difference with
the guy who just argued against the Black Peter Parker.
What?
Says the guy who just spent 20 minutes arguing against the Black Peter Parker.
Different story though. I explained that. No, it is. Because Peter Parker has 60 plus years, where Domino only has like 30 years, and she's not even a main character. Peter Parker, Spider-Man had Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spider-Man. He had so many different books, and he's a white dude from Queens. That's what I'm talking about. And Cable's not a main character either. Cable is not one of those characters. It's the X-Men. It's Deadpool. Listen, think about this. Take a breath. Smoke a spliff, whatever you want to do. Think about it. Josh Brolin, for me, personally, what I saw in the pictures, when I see Cable, the dude got 6 foot shoulders, dude. From shoulder to shoulder, 6 feet. Yo, you and Matt can lay up on Cable's shoulders in the comic books and just make it, Josh Brolin's mad skinny. And I'm mad, I understand. You can't do certain things in movies. But I see something different. The way I saw Liefeld draw Cable, the way I saw Capullo draw Cable, this dude is big. He's a big fucking dude. I get mad because when I saw this picture of Cable, I'm saying that's Josh Brolin, but he doesn't look. Thanos looks more like what Cable should look like as far as shoulder width goes. And this is, again, maybe nitpicking.
So you just wanted the giant CGI Cable?
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Because that's my whole thing. This dude don't look like Cable. He doesn't. He's got the bionic eye. He's got the little scar in the other eye. He might have a couple of tubes going down his neck. And he's got the robotic arm. But the fact of the matter is, when Rob Liefeld created Cable, this motherfucker made Cable gigantic. There's a reason for it. He's the leader of the team. He's gigantic for a reason. And Josh Brolin comes off as too skinny.
Liefeld is notorious for unrealistic body proportions.
But the fact of the matter is, it's been that way since the fucking early 90s. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have no problem with Zazie Beetz, because what they showed with Domino kind of coexists what he drew with Domino back then. The only difference is the skin tone and the hairstyle. With Cable, it's completely different. The proportions are completely off. With Peter Parker, again, you got 60 plus years of one particular thing. You ain't got to change that. Leave it as is. There's no problem with that. Every ethnicity has come and read and seen in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and whatever his fucking cartoon as one particular thing. A white kid from Queens. That's fine. Zazie Beetz, they didn't see that shit. What? Domino, again, pale. She could have been albino. She could have been black albino with a spot. Didn't matter. It works. Just Cable was, he looks anorexic. That's all I'm saying. He looks anorexic. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was like, no. No.
He looks fine.
He looked great.
No, he didn't look great. He didn't look fine. Well, he could have looked fine. He didn't look great. He looks anorexic, and that's just me. That's just me. Being a pure comic book.
I don't think you've seen an anorexic person before.
What?
I don't think you've ever actually seen an anorexic person before.
Oh no! Trust me, I've seen some anorexic people. All I'm saying is what I know from take the comic books, take whatever cartoons he's been in. He's been in a couple. That's not Cable, and even if you want to say, well, the armor puts an extra, foot or 2 feet on him, fine, that's cool. But still, this iteration of Cable, he's a fucking, he looks like a twig. He looks like Deadpool, man. He looks like Deadpool out of the costume. Dude, he's too skinny. It's too skinny.
I'm not saying he's much bigger, but he's got more of a built-in Ryan Reynolds. You compare Josh Brolin's Thanos to Josh Brolin's Cable, and Josh Brolin's Thanos should be shoulder-wide what Josh Brolin's Cable is. I'm just saying, Thanos... But Josh Brolin's Thanos is not real.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Neither is Josh Brolin's Cable. That's my point. It's a fucking comic book character. So if you make a comic book characters, make those characters come to life. Don't give me no anorexic version of this shit. Don't give it to me. I don't like it. It's terrible. I'm totally cool with Zazie Beetz. Look, I even agree with the afro. This dude, Josh Brolin, is Cable. He's too skinny, man. He's too skinny. He looks like James Bond with a fucking glowing eye. Get out of here with that bullshit. Poof it. He needs to be big, solid. He doesn't look like he can hold a fucking giant gun the way Cable in the comic books initially holds a giant gun. It makes me mad. It makes me mad. I'm just like, that's just me though. Because I read those comics.
So the takeaway from this conversation is that Ray likes him big and solid.
Pretty much. Absolutely. Without no afros. I like straight hair, but the skin tone is perfectly fine. Unless you're Spider-Man. Depends on what your name is when you're Spider-Man. Because again, Miles Morales, thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Peter Parker, come on, man. Don't change what's already been there for thousands of years, because that's what it feels like. Leave it as is. All I'm saying is, Zazie Beetz as Domino, cool. Just don't like the hair. Everything else, perfect. And I cannot wait to see how she acts as Domino. Josh Brolin, I think he's just a little too skinny. Not a little, way too skinny. That's my personal opinion. I don't care if you agree with me or not. It's my goddamn show. But, yo, hey, listen. We went way over. My wife was just here right now telling me time to make the dinner. Because I got to go and cook. Yeah, that's my life. Listen, ladies and gentlemen out there, G-Show Land, I want to thank y'all all for listening into us ramble, rant, and rave here. I want to thank the people on the panel. First off, G95, my man Matt, thank you, brother, for joining me today.
Of course, glad to be here. You're fucking wrong. See you next week.
I'm going to eat that for now, digest it, and shit all over you later on tonight in a Facebook message. Chris C. Monty, once again, man, thank you for everything for today, and thank you seriously for the Heretic, you and Pete. Yo, y'all fucking knocked it out, and I'm really sad that I can't be there. Listen, I just be the boom guy. I don't even care if I was the boom guy, but thank you.
Yeah, send me a link so I can check it out too.
Black Peter Parker 2020.
All right. As you all know, Chris voted for Donald Trump. All right. Oh, that will do it
That
for
was too far.
today's.
That was too far.
Yeah, it was too far. That will do it for today's edition of the G Show podcast. That will do it for the Geek Out. I'm glad you all geeked out with us. Today's episode 19, and I am G1. We are out of here. Peace.